The second part of my life is represented by the second book, The Naked Mind from Which Nothing Can Be Hidden. This represents the spiritual road home that I have written about and experienced over the past 30 years. I got the idea from this book because I've just gone through a matrimonial back-to-back bankruptcy and garnishee for 9 years, and I was stripped of my medical practice and I was working in a hospital setting and just getting a tiny salary which was ripped off me. So at that time I had a very strange miracle for me, and I guess for everybody. I was walking by a tobacconist in downtown and I knew the lottery numbers. I didn't guess, I didn't think, I knew what they were, and they were. And so as a scientist, and I had nothing else to do because I was no longer traveling around, I spent the next 30 years figuring on how I had done this the first time, and I used every possible route, book, concept, idea from every source, and auto-hypnotic techniques, everything I could think of, and I have put in this book what I have found and how I have found it and the results of it that you can use. It's the road home, because when you manifest and you can change this reality, and I bet that most of the people looking at me right now will agree that you couldn't mind changing your reality, because this is just an illusion here. And that sounds strange, but I've been working on it, and I'm a scientist, I'm a physician, and I have found, in my opinion, what that road is, and I've used this robot as a platform with a silicone mind, which is every computer's built into it, so she could eliminate these blocks that we as humans have, which limits our consciousness, so we are over 90% unconscious, and that's where all the troubles are, and that's the whole journey that I see, how to get rid of these unconscious blocks so we start controlling and manipulating and changing our reality. And Laura in the story teaches us the progression of how this happens after she has to learn it the hard way, being hunted down by bounty hunters and governments to get her brain, which has become extraordinary because she's been forced to upgrade it using all the suppressed technology around the planet, which is now present, and I talk about this too. The book is about a robot who accidentally downloads her creator's mind, human mind, into her brain, and she can then delete all this stuff that holds us back, all the belief systems that we have. 90+% of our consciousness is unconscious. We don't remember. We pull this blind, this hypnotic blind down when we are born to have this journey which we call the game of life. You've all read these thousands of books, self-help books, and this one. This is the super self-help book, and it describes the journey of this robot, how she progresses through and describes the journey of ordinary humans, and looking at what they do, why they do this thing for money energy, and they're crazy about sports, why they do their sports, and why do they have their likes and dislikes, and it's looked at humanity from a totally new point of view. Then she realized, because she's being tracked down for her brain now by these bounty hunters, set very near future in North America, Fortress, North America, police state. And so they track her down in every possible way, and just by being tracked down she has to develop all these ways of escaping. And first of all she finds out she doesn't need a body. Then she puts herself in a large locker, like a storage, electronic storage vault, and then she gets trapped in that one, and her friend Michael, her creator, who's now living in Japan, gets tortured into revealing it, and so they track her down, and in desperation she finally gets out, finding out crystal beds which are all around her. And as you know, crystals are like huge computers, and so she gets into the crystals. First law is crystalline, brings all this huge massive knowledge she's accumulated, becomes crystals, then she becomes nature, then she becomes a planet, then she takes the forces of the energy of the planet The book goes on to show how she disposes of her brain, she disposes of her body, and then becomes consciousness, pure consciousness. And as consciousness, she now is able to explore what consciousness is, what man calls God, geometry of perfection. And so she goes out and over satellite transmissions and through Michael, who is now married to a Japanese lady, in an incredible love story. It's one of the most beautiful love stories that you'll ever read. And she is part of nature, she is nature, and they create these 12 children, the new children of the future, the great future that's coming, the Omega children, with none of these human restrictions that we have, who are able to do the miracles. And the end of the story is extraordinary, the miracle that is performed at the end by these children. I'm just giving you a first little glimpse of what I've extemporaneously, I got a whole bunch of stuff on the screen which I can't even see. So this is really the story of it, and what I'm going to do is read clips from the 2 books for you to read if you're interested, to give you what I call the interesting, like, insights into aspects of the book. There are 2 terrific books. They're totally different. One is the hedonistic, the Jeffrey Man, the hunter-killer, the shark hunter. There's a wonderful picture of me taken right at that time, the Hollywood man. And the other one is the spiritual man who has left behind all killing, and I now would never kill anything. How could I kill anything? The sharks, when I swim with them now, they're like airliners. They're the most beautiful things I ever see. And so I present these 2 to you, and I hope that you will read them for $3.99 US. I mean, how can you go wrong? And you can ship them out to all your friends, have your friends read them. I want them all over the world. So help me out if you believe in it and see, and you read the book and you get the story the way I see it, and that's what I felt right. So I bless you all, I thank you, and I hope that you will see the way that I see. Namaste, I bless you and thank you.